how do I deal with the election of Donald Trump?
I thought somebody might ask that.
But but last night I listened to you. I listened to you at my home here in San Diego. And what you told me and what I've done, and Donald has helped me. He's made me go deep very quickly. Okay? And he is going to be my spiritual practice for the next 4 years. And you helped me with that to understand, instead of saying, you son of a gun, I don't like you. I don't want you to be there. Why are you there? This is impossible. It must have been some sort of alternative fact, okay? It isn't, it wasn't, but that's okay, because I'm going to accept it, and it's going to be my spiritual practice for the next 4 years. Thank God. It's wonderful. Now, my question. I read your books, and there's one little phrase that you have that and I listened to the tape you've done with Oprah, the 10 sessions you did about 5 times, and you talk about it, but the part of when you say, life is the dancer, and we are the dance. And Oprah said, isn't it the other way around? And you explained it somewhat, but I didn't grasp it. And you being here in front of me is the most joyous thing in my life to have you answer that. It's I couldn't ask for anything more. This is one of the most special times of my life. And so if you could answer that, I think a lot of people have that question too.
Thank you. And first of all, thank you about what you said about Donald Trump. That is very helpful. I hardly need to answer any more questions about Donald Trump because you've said it already.
Thank you.
The acceptance of what is, because that's what is. You can't argue with what is. That is what is. Not being, I should talk for a moment about the first part. That wasn't the question, but you beautifully told us your realization. To use any condition, we talked about the comfort zone, so there's also collective comfort zones that people want to be in. You are drawn, for example, to the news sources that correspond to your beliefs, the conditioning of your mind. So you don't want to be taken out of your comfort zone, and this happens, life does it to you, it does it to individuals, and then it takes entire groups of people out of their comfort zone, which has happened here. And this is a relatively minor way of being taken out of their comfort zone. People in Syria are being taken out of their comfort zone in a much more violent way than what's happened here so far. So people experience collectively these upheavals, and it's also need to realize that if possible, try to enter the mind space of the other part of America who are in their comfort zone now, who were not in their comfort zone before. So why is that? They are now in their comfort zone and we are not in the comfort zone. Try to enter what is it that, how do they see the world? I'm not talking about the fringe extreme, because those exist, obviously, deeply unconscious people who, well, there's not much one can do there, but it wasn't just the extreme, the extreme fringe that brought him into power. There were many ordinary humans who genuinely felt that deep change was needed, and then he happened to be there and represented it. So what is there? I listened to Marianne Williamson, who is much more engaged in politics than I am, and she even ran for Congress. And she went to some events in Washington soon after the election, and she talked to some supporters of Donald Trump, and in a very open way, and those were not deeply unconscious people that are on the fringes. And they said to her, "You didn't vote for him, did you?" And she said, "No, I didn't." And she had a human interaction beyond the mindset of those people. She was able to reach these people. So not to demonize half of the population, so because it's not that simple. There is unconsciousness on both parts of the population. So hold it all in that space of awareness, and do what, if you feel you need to take action, make sure it is not a reaction that comes from anger, because the more you're motivated by anger, the more you contribute to the unconsciousness. If you see the rising of unconsciousness in here, don't contribute to it and become angry because unconsciousness is rising. Because then you become what you are fighting against. You need to be very careful that you do not become what you are fighting against. And this happens, for example, when people start smashing up places, destroying property and cars, because they're wanting to fight the fascists. So don't become that. So stay conscious, and then you disseminate information, talk, create your YouTube channel if you feel you have to, and explain how you see it in a loving way. You don't need an angry YouTube channel. There are enough of those already. So don't need to add another one. And then this is just one example of what you can do. Don't know much about social media. There's also Facebook. I don't know how that works, but I have in the past occasionally posted something not personally, but I gave it to somebody to post. I may do so again, by the way. I may even comment on political situations. So. And then your question is,
life is the dancer.
Yes.
And we are the dance, which is opposite of what we would think.
Okay. I'm not sure if I can answer that question, because that's something that I said a long time ago. So.
Fair enough. Okay.
If I said it right now, I would be able to tell you what it means. But give me just one moment.
Okay.
Well, I believe what I meant was, it's always strange when one goes to the past and people say, "What did you mean when you said that 10 years ago? Did I say that?"
Yeah. I'm sorry, I went fairly deep. So
the dancer and the dance, this analogy, if that's what it is that I used, is the dancer is the consciousness, and life as it unfolds in the world of form and multiplicity on this planet and in many other places is the dance of life. The dancer is who you are in your essence. The dancer is God, ultimately, the one consciousness. You are the one consciousness. And the one consciousness expresses itself as this so-called person or human being. I love that expression, human being. You remember how I interpret human being?
Yep.
Human is the form, being is the formless. Being is the dancer,
Yes.
and human is the dance. Right.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Yeah.